Bitcoin breaks above 50,000, 51,000. Is this the continuation of the bull market? And if so, how high will it go? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. I appreciate you cruising by. Bitcoin's moving a little bit. I got a special guest today, Kevin Svensson. What's up, man? Welcome.
What's up, Dan? Thanks for having me on, man.
Appreciate it. Just anybody that's watching this video right now, this was like a last second. I DM'd Kevin and
Got the DM and hopped in within like 20 minutes, so
yeah,
here we are.
yeah. We just we set up real quick, but right now
And a
Bitcoin's
beautiful
moving.
breakout.
It is a beautiful, look at that in the background. That's perfect. So it's a nice breakout. Want to talk about it. Really want to get Kevin's thoughts. My initial reason, I watch Kevin, subscribe to his channel. I'll put a link in the description below. Follow him on Twitter. The reason I reached out to him is because, when I'm watching Bitcoin technical analysis, I don't watch a ton. Kevin's one of those guys that's just he's straight to the data on the charts. It's unemotional stuff. And for me, if you've been watching my content, you know I'm unemotional, and that's why I like Kevin. And I wanted to get him on. I want him to talk a little bit about Three Peaks and the domed house. You might have heard about that, but I also want him to dig into the charts right now because Bitcoin's making some moves. But before we do it, Kevin, just I guess real quick intro. 30 seconds to a minute. What's your story? How'd you get into Bitcoin?
So I'm from the channel Kevin Svensson Crypto. My name's Kevin Svensson. And so when I was in college, I was trading penny stocks, and my older brother was trading Bitcoin at the time. This was like 2015, and he was losing money. But he kind of introduced me to Bitcoin at the time, and I really didn't get into it until actually 2017 when I was living in LA, and my buddy's older brother was like living out there, so we like met up at the bar, had a few drinks, and he would convince me to basically just max out my debit card on Ethereum at the time. So I kind of just aped in blind in 2017 into Ethereum, and that's kind of how I got started.
Nice, nice. I appreciate that background. And before I give you the screen,
Also,
um,
I'm sweating right now. I don't know why.
that's because it's Bitcoin's hot right now. Bitcoin's pumping. That's why. Before I give you the screen, I track Bitcoin, at a very macro level. Often, I use a lot of Fibonacci. And what's been cool is as I've been tracking, Bitcoin to the upside, I've talked a lot about this 1618 right here on the Fibonacci. For me, that was a big data point for the continuation of this bull market. And nothing has happened yet on Bitcoin, in my view, that signals we're entering a bear market, as many are saying. And I know you have your own reasons as well. So I want you to dig into that a little bit, where Bitcoin is in the cycle, what you think. This is a video from June. You've been talking about this for a while, and
Right, right.
there's a lot of opinions on this, but I think how it's played out thus far, whether this is still in play or not, I think you've been extremely on point. I want you to talk about that a little bit. So I'm going to hand over the screen to you right now and let us know your thoughts on Bitcoin. What's next? What's all-time high potential territory? And what's up with this domed house?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird name for a chart pattern. But so first of all, I want to talk about what's happening right now. And so if I go back to the regular candlesticks, we can see that Bitcoin has found a local low. We're bouncing, we're breaking out on the shorter term timeframes, as most people are seeing right now. But one of my favorite indicators has just turned bullish. And it's a combination of two things. One, the Heikin-Ashi chart style, and also the parabolic stop and reverse indicator. And I'm on the 3-day chart. And if you're looking at the Heikin-Ashi candles on the 3-day chart with the parabolic stop and reverse indicator, we just got the bullish flip. Look at that. You see that dot down there?
Yep.
Right? So we just got the flip to the bullish side. And I just want you guys to see how unbelievably accurate this has been. We got the parabolic stop reverse indicator to flip bullish down here, basically the like 1 3-day candle to the next, the beginning of that run, flips bearish at the exact top, flips bullish at the exact bottom, flips bearish again at the exact top, and now we got it again to the bullish side. It's like if you're a swing trader, this is all you've needed to use You could have thrown everything else out and just used this, and it would have perfectly guided you through half of this entire year.
Seriously.
So we just got the flip, which means, in my opinion, we have probably multiple weeks, if not multiple months, of upside coming for Bitcoin, right? It's just very likely now. So there's that.
Is
So
it
that
that
is,
easy? Is it
it's
that
okay.
easy,
So,
Kevin?
well, anything can happen, of course, right? Who knows what happens with all of these new, viruses and stuff, or I don't know, the Fed says something. Yeah, anything can change. There's no guarantees. We could dump, but it's just, in my opinion, very likely that we have a multi-week, multi-month recovery from this point. And so the question is now, what's going to happen from here on out? I was talking on my channel about possibly being at 60K by the end of the year, but now that we're getting closer to the end of the year, it's seeming maybe a little bit less likely. But I think we could maybe, right, because we could get a quick BART back up or something,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of stable coins on the sidelines. I'm not sure how deep into this you want me to get, but we've talked a lot about the buying power for Bitcoin. And every time you get to a point where there's this much stable coins on the sidelines, right, you're at a bottom,
Yeah. Look at that.
right? So you're looking at all these points, right? Just like 30,000, even this dip here from September right there, and where we are right now. Tons of stable coins on the sidelines ready to re-enter. And this is, one of the metrics we were using to call the bottom here recently on my channel as well. So, I have no doubts that we are ready to play out a massive recovery and see an ocean of stablecoins re-enter the market. So there's that. Do you have any questions before we move on?
Um, I don't. What I really would like to pick your brain on, and by the way, I mean that was extremely helpful to kind of to see that I guess on-chain metrics data. But what I really want to know is your thoughts on if we get a really just nice bounce right here, right? And Bitcoin just cruising, it's moving. How high do you think it can go? And if you throw a number out there, I'd be curious from like a technical analysis perspective why you say that is so. And however deep you want to go into it, but I am curious of the three peaks and a domed house, what your thoughts are there, if it's still in play. Um, Let us know.
So when it comes to Bitcoin and upside targets, this is my oh wait, this is gold. Sorry, wrong chart. Let's go to Bitcoin. Well, so I would actually be using the fibs, and just go from high to low,
Mhm.
because this is historically Bitcoin respects the fibs. I mean, actually, as you were saying earlier, we had from this low to this high, we had a touch off the 618, right? We respected the 618 golden retrace, as you were saying, before we bounced. And we did that exact move in so many of the previous bull markets, and we did it once again. And I was also on the same page as you. We held that level, which made me think, this bull market's got to continue at this point. And I actually would go ahead and do the same thing to the upside, go from the previous high to low.
Mhm.
And when it comes to likely upside targets, something that we can actually set as a realistic goal, right? Because everyone wants to think that Bitcoin's going to go to 200,000, 300,000, or more.
Yeah.
But I would say that a realistic target is roughly 124,000, about that zone, which is sitting at the 2618, right? So I think likely if we break out, right, if we create the first floor, which I'm going to get to in a second, if we break out, this is the medium term target, 88,000.
That's
This is just
1618.
it's just midterm, right? And then after that, I think we would probably retest the previous high and then look to punch up to 124,000 at the 2618. And that's a realistic target at 124,000. That's something that, like, let's say Bitcoin does go up there. Let's say you sell, or take a large portion of profits. Even if Bitcoin does run up to, 180,000, 200,000, I mean, you're still getting a pretty good deal, and it's just a likely target, right? In my opinion. So 124,000 is just a good, well-rounded overall target, realistic target that is likely to show up, in my opinion.
Okay,
And then
so
possibly even 180,000 as well. But
kind of like that 1618 in the 80s, maybe some consolidation there, and then
so
boom,
yeah,
testing.
I'm actually looking to take portions of profit at 124, and then more at 180,000 at the 4236, because 180,000 to 4236, I see that as a strategic profit taking zone, because people are going to be looking for 200. And I think you can front run, a possible top below 200 by selling at the 4236 at 180,000. So really, my profit taking zone is sitting right in between these two. So essentially, if we hit there, a portion of profits on 124, we hit on 180, a portion of profits there, and then I'll hold a moon bag in case we do go higher, right? Of
Yep.
course.
Got to.
So those are my price targets. Yeah.
Cool. So real quick, take a couple minutes. Three Peaks and a Dome Toss. Is it? And if you don't think it's in play anymore, that's cool too. I'm just really curious of what you think at this point. It's been interesting to watch it.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of talk surrounding this pattern, and this is a chart pattern discovered by George Lindsay in the early 1970s. And there's a few famous examples of this pattern. But first of all, some of you guys have heard about this recently. I called it in June of this year at the basement for Bitcoin, right down here. I was calling for this pattern to take place back in June, and we had the run up to the previous three peaks and a pullback. Now, some people think it's invalid. Personally, I think it's still a strong potential. So when it comes to this pattern, you get the initial run up, followed by three peaks, and then the lower high zone, dump to the basement, which is the bear trap, and a move to the first floor, and then a move to the roof before the plunge. Now, I'm going to show you guys an example. This is gold in 2011. So this gold chart, if you're looking at this pattern right here, it's very similar to what we just saw for Bitcoin. It has like a really, really similar look to it. And this is basically one of the best examples of the three peaks in a domed house pattern. Right. So gold 2011, really good example. And now for Bitcoin, the question is, are we going to play out something similar? Now, George Lindsay does say that in real-time trading, it can have slight variations, right? Because I know a lot of people are going to look at this and go, well, that doesn't look exactly the same as gold in 2011. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't. But again, it doesn't have to be exact. There are slight variations in real-time trading. And even this diagram shows the three peaks being below the first floor
Yeah.
on this example diagram, which is different than them being flush on this example. So there are variations, right? It doesn't have to be exactly the same. So yeah, I do think that there's a strong potential that Bitcoin could be looking to play out the creation of the first floor here, right? I think you had to flip back to the angle.
Right. Yeah. Sorry about that. Hold on a second.
Hold on, guys. Technical difficulties.
See, this is what we're talking about. Technical difficulties. There we go.
So we're looking for this to be the creation of the first floor on the right side. If you're looking at this, right, before we head up to the roof, and it's possible that Bitcoin runs up to the high, pulls back, consolidates, and runs up. And if this happens, if Bitcoin plays it out like that, then I would say that just like gold 2011, yeah, we are in a three peaks in a domed house pattern.
So it could
So
be
that's what we're waiting for.
it could be kind of at a first floor area right now.
Yeah, that's basically what we're looking for, is that this would end up being the first floor, which basically just means a sideways consolidation below the all-time high before a breakout, right? And that would be following that pattern there.
And that kind of goes in line with what we were just talking about, that visit to the 1618 at the 80s, right, on the macro. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
Bitcoin makes the move up to that way.
Actually, I mean, one thing I actually forgot to do is pull up the fibs for. I'm just curious now. Actually, haven't even looked at this yet. So this is gold 2011. We actually moved up above the 1618. So for me, for Bitcoin, I think that we would also exceed the 1618. and probably head up to the 2618 for Bitcoin. So I would actually be looking for something similar, but probably actually extend all the way up above 100K.
Man, the path is there.
Interestingly enough, if we followed exactly what gold in 2011 did, we would probably hit right in between the two, which is exactly 100K. Just interesting observation.
So the path is basically right there.
Yeah, we're basically on the verge of this consolidation, and basically that mean that probably by January, end of January, we'd be looking for possible all-time high break once again, and that would confirm the first floor, and we would look for a six-figure Bitcoin. I think it's very likely to take place that we would see a six-figure Bitcoin in 2022.
Man, could you imagine that?
I can, I can taste it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a wild ride through the bear market, up through this bull market the last year and a half or so, and now it's. I could only imagine crypto Twitter if we're breaking six figures, if Bitcoin's breaking six figures, it'd be fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I also think that if that happens, essentially everything above 65,000 or 69,000, I should say, is going to be a bubble zone.
Yeah.
So if we break above 69 and we head to a six-figure Bitcoin, you're going to see lots of hype. People, news talking about it,
Yeah.
all of your friends talking about it, and we're going to, hit a six-figure number. That's going to be not sustainable, I think, in this halving cycle.
Yep.
And we'd likely come back down below 69 by the end of next year, something along those lines. So essentially above 69,000, consider it a profit-taking zone, in a bubble zone.
Bubble zone. That's a great title for a video. Beware the bubble zone.
Yeah.
You can take that one. So, all
gonna,
right,
gonna
cool.
get on that fast.
I appreciate it, Kevin. I think it's a really nice breakdown, and there's probably so much more we could dig into, but it's going to be really, really interesting to see how these indicators you were just breaking down play out for Bitcoin. So I appreciate you cruising through, sharing your
Thanks for
thoughts.
having me, man.
Keep killing it. You're doing a great job, man. I really enjoy your content, and if you're not following Kevin, please go follow him on Twitter, on YouTube. I'll put the links below, and appreciate you, man. Thanks for cruising through.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. See you in the next video. God bless.